What's up, alphas? It's me, and today I'm getting ready. I want to do this chocolate look that I had on my Instagram a few weeks ago, and I've tried to film it a few times, but the lighting just wasn't the way that I wanted it, so I think I got it the way I need it, so I think that's what I'm going to be doing today. I just got out of the shower, so I am going to prep my skin. I did not exfoliate, but I am feeling a little bit of texture. So I'm going to go in with my Neogen peel pads. These are my favorites. I've mentioned these so many times. So I'm just going to rub this all over my face. And my goal is to keep my skin looking like skin with some complexion. And the way to do that is to just prep my base. So I like to do this so that way by the time I get to my skin, everything is, you know, absorbed properly. And I like these because they have two different sides. You use the cotton side to put the solution onto your skin, and then you use the gauze side to exfoliate. I didn't have time to do it in the shower, so I'm just gonna take my clean hands, go around the areas where I feel some texture, and this is gonna buff it off. So my skin is going to be red because I am applying some pressure to my skin to really get that texture off of my face. I've been dealing with allergies. I'm gonna mist my face with some of this. I got this at TJ Maxx because hyaluronic acid is better applied when your skin is kind of damp. They do recommend that you apply it straight out of the shower and don't completely dry your face. But I've been running around. I was trying to just get to filming because Zadie is taking a nap. So I'm just going to apply this all over my skin. I'm gonna go in with my Aveeno Max Glow Drops. And this helps with the texture, the tone of the skin, and it also makes the skin glowy. So I'm just going to really work this into the high points of my face. I'm gonna add some eye cream. Again, everything is just irritated. So I'm using Derma Ease Hydrating Eye Cream. And this is a multi-purpose product. I don't know if anybody knew that, but I like to do like glossy lids using it because it's not super sticky. I'm gonna try to make this process as easy as possible so you can follow along and do it too. I like to use this as a base. This is Laura Mercier's Caviar Stick and Cocoa. This is one of my favorite things ever. Step one is to apply this along the lash line. And you wanna apply it as close to the root of the lash. If you get it at the lower lash line, it's okay, you can clean it up. I'll show you how to do that in a second, but I like to apply this to the root of the lash like that. So the idea is to blend it out before it sets. So when I'm blending out, I'm just taking one of these like flat brushes, it's like a concealer brush, and I'm just blending out the top part. I'm not touching the placement where the root of the lash is, I'm just blending the top. So then I go back and I add more. And I work on one eye at a time because this product sets pretty fast. So I'm just building the deepest part of that color here. And then I'm blending out here. So it has this nice gradient effect. You don't want to make it super thick because then it starts to get sticky when it's setting, and it's not a good time because if you have hooded lids, the product gets caught in the hood and the loose part of the skin, and it's just a pain to try to blend out once it's set. So the idea is to blend it out while the product is, you know, not wet, but you know, not set yet. So then how do you clean up when you have, you know, product everywhere and it's setting? Easy, you just take a Q-tip and you take your eye makeup remover. I like to use the Garnier waterproof version in the blue. I do have the pink, it's right over there, but I prefer the blue. and it gets this off really easy. So mold your Q-tip by twisting it and making a mold after it's wet. And remember, my fingers are clean, so just wipe them if you're worried about that. And then just take your Q-tip and run it along the edges, and this is going to help you with your shape, so you don't have to keep adding product to make that shape. You can make it by taking away areas where you don't want product sitting. And next, you are going to take a black eyeliner. You can use a deeper brown, but I prefer a matte black eyeliner. So I'm going to use Urban Decay's 24/7 Glide On Pencil in Perversion. This is one of my favorite matte black eyeliners. Then I just run this along the lash line as close to the root of the lash as possible. And again, I'm working with one eye at a time, and I'm just going to blur the edges, the top part of that black into the brown. You just want to pull it and blend it. And you don't want to do it while it's dry, because then it's also hard to blend out. So the key is, as caviar and cocoa is setting, it's getting tacky and sticky, apply this. You don't need a lot, so I would start off with a little, see where the blend gets you, and add more as you go. And I'm using the edge of the brush to smudge out the top of that line. So where the darkest part of that cocoa color is, this is going to blend in, so it's going to be a gradient of black to brown to light milk chocolate brown. Just like that. You see how easy that is? That was super easy. So then I take this and I apply it to the upper waterline. So next thing I do is I will apply this to the lower lash line, and it's brown because I don't want it to close off my eyes, and I find that if I use all black, it closes off my eye really bad, and I already have small eyes to begin with. This just makes it a little less harsh. But you can go in with black. It's whatever you want, whatever you feel like. But I like to use brown. And I'm just going to line. And I'm also going to apply it on the root of that lash line. So all in the waterline, a little bit below it, because I'm going to smudge that out. I'm using this brush. This is from Bdellium Tools. It's the 773. It's one of my favorite brushes. And it just fits underneath my lower lash line, and I'm just going to use this to blend out and smudge that line. And it still gives me, like, you still get a striking look with brown eyeliner as long as it's dark enough. And this is also waterproof and it doesn't come off. So don't worry if you bring the brown color a little bit lower. We're going to fix that in a second. I'm just going to do the other side. And I like to connect that corner. I'm not making a cat eye really, I'm just following the natural shape of my eye. So the next thing I do is going to just elevate this look. I like to take the Revlon Maverick palette, and this is my favorite palette from the collection, and that's what it looks like. I know I've shown it multiple times here on YouTube. But what I like to do is I take a fluffy brush. This is a tapered blending E40 from Sigma. And it's just a really good brush to diffuse color. And I'm going to take this color here where I hit pan. I don't think they have shades or like colors. If they do, I can't find it. But just going to take that shade. And this is going to go right on top of that line. See where that end brown line was, you know, the edges. You're just going to apply this on there, and you're going to look into the mirror to make sure that you're applying it a little above your natural crease. So I'm going to do this side. And you're just going to blend out those edges just like that. The goal is to get this part smooth and well blended, because everything else is smudgy, so I feel like if that's not blended well, it's just gonna look messy, and I don't like messy. I like messy, but intentionally messy, if that makes sense. So then next, I'm going to take this pointed brush. This is from Laura Mercier. It's like a pony brush, like ponytail hair brush. Finishing ponytail, that's what it's called. And I'm going to go into this red color. It's like a reddish, orangey color. And this is going to be set on the outer corner heavily there. And then whatever's left, I'll bring in. So it's just going to emphasize that outer corner right in there. And I'm doing it right at the edge there. So it's basically right in here, the outer V. I'm just taking it there. And don't worry if you bring it too low. You will see how that's fixed. So I'm also going to bring in the lower lash line. So then to make it more seamless, I'm going to go in with this color. This is like a brown, but it's not a cool tone brown, it's a warm brown. I'm just going to pat this along that lash line to further transition the liner. And I'm patting so that way I kind of avoid a lot of fallout from the palette, because this brush is pretty stiff, so the palette won't give me fallout, but the brush will. And if you pat, you're packing on that color and trying to avoid as much fallout as possible. But if you get it, don't worry. Look into the mirror when my eyes are open. Like if I'm looking at someone, this is how I would look. And just making sure that everything is blended. I'm going to curl my lashes. You can go in with false lashes at this point if you would like to. So I'm going to be using two mascaras. I'm going to be using the Avon Love at First Lash Mascara for lengthening. And this is only going on the top lashes. So I just like to add that. And then I'm going to use Scuba by The Balm. And this is waterproof, so my whole eye, you can dunk me in the pool and I will be good. So I'm applying most of this product at the base of the lash to beef it up, thicken it up. So then at this point, I kind of just look at my eye and I'm like, okay, a lot of the brown kind of blended away. So I'll just add a little more brown. I'm going to use Il Makiage brow pomade in Espresso. This one, and I'm going to be using this e.l.f. brush. It has like a spoolie at the end of it, and it's a smaller brush, so it gives me smaller strokes. So I'm just gonna brush my hairs up. Just start in the middle, and I rest my brow, because when your brow is rested, that's the way it's going to look. So recommend resting your brow and then filling in. And you see how that looks? That's with this brush. I used to use the pure brush, but I still use that brush, but this brush is shorter, so it gives me more actual hair-like strokes for me because I have short brow hairs. Wondering, I'm not digging the color into my brows. I'm just lightly going along and I'm doing that flicking motion. So the flicking motion is going to give you the natural brow stroke look, and you're going to have some sparse areas. That's what brows usually are, unless you're like blessed with super thick dark brows, which my sister was. But me, I had thick brows, but they weren't like thick in density. It was thick as in like size, because we have our dad's brows. I am using Laura Mercier's primer in Hydrating, my favorite primer, and I'm just gonna apply this to the center of my face to add a little more hydration. My face is already set up. I'm going to mix Laura Mercier's, this is called the Flawless Lumiere Radiance Perfecting Foundation, and I'm going to use the shade Maple, and it's like this very nice luminous look to it. And then I'm gonna mix a little bit of the Vanish foundation because I want a little more coverage. This gives coverage, but it's not coverage. So let's check the color. I would say that's a match. So we're going to apply it onto our face. I'm just going to dot. And I like to start off with the chin and the jaw area. I don't know why. I just feel like I add less foundation if I start that way. So I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to buff that foundation. Oh, it's giving me a pretty look. It's coverage, but luminous. Because the Hourglass foundation is kind of matte. Not in like matte in a bad way, but this one is very luminous and I want a balance of both because I have a pretty matte eye. So I'm just going to just apply the product onto my hand, work it into the bristles, and I start on the outside really quickly applying the product, and I'm using quick blending motions. If you start below the area you're trying to apply the product on, it's going to apply most of the product in that area first, and then you can disperse it, if that makes sense. So we also like to go over around the nose, because I need more coverage there anyway, and then work my way under the eye. And I'm using light pressure. This is not heavy pressure. This is a flimsy brush, so it gives me a flawless look. And it's not pressing into my skin heavily. So now I'm going to set my face. I'm going to be using Laura Mercier's Secret Brightening Powder in number 2. And I'm just gonna tap this underneath my eye because I know I'm gonna get some type of transfer. So just tap the powder in this vicinity. You already know this. A lot of people don't spot set, and I will admit when I had super oily skin, I did not spot set because my makeup would not stay on. I was just oily and it would just slide off. But now that I have a different type of skin, I can spot set it and be okay, even in humidity. I'm gonna use Charlotte Tilbury, of course, you know. Just using one of these. It's my Ray Ray BH Cosmetics brushes. And then taking it all over. And I usually sometimes get that line here. So you just want to pat the product down. So I'm gonna do this as a stain. I've done this in the past video, like in past videos I've done this before. And I just apply the lip color, and I'm just gonna do the blurred lip. This is very popular right now from Katie Jane Hughes. If you watch her on Instagram, she's a makeup artist that I've been enjoying. But I've also watched a lot of movies. If you watch The Notebook and you look at the red lipstick that, what's her name? The main girl has been wearing, I forgot her name. She has a red blurred out line lipstick. And I watched a lot of other old movies, like older movies in that time, and that's the look that they did. So I would like to consider this old Hollywood glamour. But the goal of the blurred lip, in my opinion, is it makes the lip more a part of, like, it makes the lip color more a part of your face rather than just laying on top of your face. All right, alphas, so this is the look. This is how I get my smudgy, smoky, glossy, radiant look. I don't know what to call it, but the look that you were all requesting, this is how I did it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please thumbs up and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see next. I'm kind of thinking of doing like maybe a colorful look. I have these new The Balm palettes, the tea palettes, that maybe I'll use those next. But I really enjoyed the look. I'm glad it came out this way this time because I filmed this once and it was no bueno. But I really like it. I hope you did too. Thanks so much for spending your time with me, and I will see you next time. Bye.